Hello everybody, Kenneth Hollins here with HollinsMusic.com. Thank you so much for taking a few minutes and watching this video. Now, what I have for you today is something that I really hope will help a lot of musicians. In particular, if you are a piano player or a keyboard player. And I want to try to help with this challenge right here. It's very common. You may ask the question, what can I do to try to make my chord sound bigger or fuller? If that's a challenge that you have, I want to try to help you with that today. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to play a song, and I want to play it in a really simple way at first, and then I'm going to go back and play it again and show you how you can play that same song a little bit bigger, a little bit more full sounding. And then I'm going to break down what I did, show you the principles behind it, so that way you can apply it to different songs as well. Okay, so we're going to take the song Amazing Grace, and we're going to do it in the key of C major for demonstration purposes. And again, I'm going to play it in a very simplified way first, and then I'm going to go back and try to make it sound a little bit fuller. Okay, here we go. We're going to do C major as our key, and we're going to play the song Amazing Grace. Okay, all right, so that's Amazing Grace in the key of C. Now let's play it again, and let's see if we can make it a little bit fuller sounding. All right, here we go. All right, so now that was Amazing Grace, just trying to make it sound a little fuller. Now let me break down for you some of the things that I did to try to create that, and to make the song sound fuller. So in order to explain this, I want to start really from a foundational point. We're going to do this in the key of C major again, and we're going to use the C major chord to demonstrate some of the principles behind what I'm doing. Okay, so now a C major chord, and I know most of us know this, but I just want to make sure I'm laying a nice little foundation for you to really understand. A C major chord consists of the notes C, E, and G. Okay, real simple. That's a C major chord. Now, in order to really do this, you need to understand the concept of chord inversions. Now, what is a chord inversion? A chord inversion is when you take the notes of your chord and you change the position of those notes. You don't necessarily change the notes, but the position of the notes. For example, if we want to play a C major chord, which consists of the notes C, E, and G, we would call this root position. Okay, this would be called root position. Now, if we change the order of the notes or the position of the notes, and we try this, instead of C, E, G, let's do E, G, C. Okay, this is still a C major chord, but now it is a C major chord in first inversion. All right, so that's what we call that. It's the same three notes, just a different position. All right, let's keep going. We can change the position or the order of the notes again. And now we have G, C, E. And this is what we would call second inversion. Okay, so again, the C major chord in root position, the C major chord in first inversion, and then the C major chord in second inversion. Okay, now why is that important to understand? It's because now what we're going to do, first thing I'm going to show you is we're going to take this C major chord in second inversion, which will be now this. Okay, so instead of C, E, G in second inversion, it is going to be G, C, E. Okay, so that's still C major, but just in second, and I'm going to write second inversion. Okay, I'm going to do an IV. Okay, that stands for inversion. All right, so now what we want to do now is what's called a drop 2. Okay, now what that means is we're going to take the next to the last note. All right, now the last note is going to be this E right here. All right, so if we're playing it on the keyboard, it looks like this. That's C major, root position, first inversion, second inversion. All right, the last note would be E, and I'm going to also say the top note or the highest note. It's going to be the note E. And so we don't want necessarily the E, we want the next to the top note, which is going to be this C right here. Okay, so it's going to be this note right here. And what we're going to do is change where this note is. And so we're going to move it from there to here. Okay, so it moved from here to right there, and it changed the position. Okay, so now instead of this, we changed the C and moved it to here. Now we have this, and this is what you call a drop 2 voicing. A drop 2 voicing. That's what that was. Okay, now let's see if we can demonstrate this in another key. Let's take the key of F major. Let's take the key of F major, and we're going to take an F major chord, which Amazing Grace had in it. All right, F, A, C. So root position is F, A, C. All right, now if we invert it, it's going to be A, C, F. Okay, if we invert it again, it's going to be C, F, A. Okay, so again, this would be root position, this would be first inversion, and then this would be second inversion. So now what we're going to do is take the second inversion, and we're going to do what's called a drop 2. So we're going to take the C, F, and A. And excuse me for being so detailed, but I just want to make sure everybody understands. And I know you may be sitting there saying, man, I already know this stuff, but I just want to lay a real solid foundation so that we're all on the same page. So I tend to teach slow like this because I don't want anybody to get lost. Okay, but we're going to get to a point where I believe everybody can benefit. All right, so stay with me. So we're going to do the second inversion of F major, which is C, F, and A. Okay, C, F, and A. So now what we want to do is the drop 2 voicing of this particular chord. So the top note or the highest note is going to be this note right here, the A. Okay, that's the highest note, the A. But we don't want the highest note or the top note. We want the next to that, which is going to be this note right here, the F. And we're going to take the F and drop it down 1 octave to right here. Okay, so we're going to move it from in the middle to right there. Okay, so now we have, instead of C, F, A, we have F, C, A. Okay, see how we came up with that? And that is what you call a drop two voicing. Okay, a drop two voicing. Again, taking the second inversion in the instance of in what I'm doing, taking the second inversion and then the next to the highest note, bringing that down an octave, and it makes it a drop two voicing. And so now you can do this not only with major chords, but you also can do this with minor chords. So let's see if we can demonstrate that. So say for example, in this particular song, it had A minor in it. Okay, it has A minor. Okay, the three notes would be what? A, C, and E. That's what creates an A minor chord. Now, if we are to play it in root position, it would be A, C, E. Okay, first inversion, C, E, A. Second inversion, E, A, C. Now, if I use the drop two voicing, the top note is C, but I want the next to the top note, which is an A right here. And we're going to bring that down an octave to that. And then that gives us this right here. Okay? So now when I play my A minor chord, with my left hand I can do this. So now I have a chord that is fuller and a little bigger. So as you are probably noticing by now, one thing that really helps your chords to sound bigger and to sound fuller is what you do with your left hand. I generally like to put space in between the notes of my chords, and it tends to add width and depth to the sound of your chord. And using the second inversion drop two voicing on major chords as well as minor chords, it really helps to do that. And so this is something that you can do, and it's really going to help you, and it really opens up the door to many other things. Now I'm going to show you one more thing that you also can do with this. Now once you figure out, let's go back to the key of C. Let's go back to the key of C. And let's play the C major chord again. But what we're going to do is play it in second inversion, and then we're going to do the drop two voicing, which now is C, G, and E. Now what we're going to do is take that voicing, C, G, and E, okay, which is our, again, second inversion, drop two C major chord. What we're going to do is now we're going to invert this. Okay, so what do I mean? We're going to take this and we're going to invert that. So now we're going to take C, G, E and then take it up. So now instead of C, G, E, we now have E, C, G. All right, and it's still a C major chord. Let's do it again. Instead of E, C, G, now we can do G, E, C. Okay? And all of those are C major chords. But what it does now, it gives you options, it gives you variety in your sound, and then it also gives you depth and width to the sound of your chords. And it's something that you can do solely with your left hand. Okay, now let me give you an exercise that you can use to help get comfortable with this. One thing that I recommend doing is taking the second inversion drop two voicing, and you also could look at it like this: a root, a fifth, and a tenth. Okay, whatever helps you to remember it better. But I would recommend starting in C and then moving up in half steps like this. Now you may be noticing on certain keys I'm able to play them all at the same time, but other keys it's kind of a stretch for me where I can't quite get it. So if that is the case, I recommend you use your sustain pedal. Play your first note, hit your sustain pedal, and then the other two. Okay, that's one way you can do that. You can get around if your hands are not real big. Some people, their hands are big enough they can hit all three notes in every key. My hands aren't that big to do that. I can do certain keys, but not all of them. And so that's a way to get around it, using your sustain pedal. All right, we keep moving in the key of F, key of F sharp, G, A flat, A, D, B natural, back to C. Now, if you really want to start getting into it and getting comfortable, you can start taking that and then inverting that and practicing. Okay? Okay, and that is this particular voicing right here. For example, this would be E flat major. Okay, that's in second inversion, drop 2. Okay, that's what I just did. And then I inverted that, which would now be this. And that's something that I use a lot. For example, let's take something like Great Is Thy Faithfulness in the key of D flat. Okay, right here. Now, when I played this right here, now say for example, I wanted to make that bigger. This is an A flat chord, E flat over G, A flat major over F sharp, then D flat major over F. Okay, let's see if I can expand it using these same techniques. Okay, okay, I pretty much did it in 2 places, if you can notice. Okay, if you can notice. Okay, that's one. Moving from the A flat. Now this is all with my left hand right now. A flat major, that's second inversion, drop 2. Now this is E flat major. Now this is actually an inversion of the drop 2, okay? But I'm playing G, E flat, B flat, and then I didn't do it right here, and then again to an inversion of the drop 2 for D flat major. So notice that I'm really trying to work my left hand to try to add fullness and depth to my playing. Okay, so that's something that you can really explore, experiment with, try, and I guarantee you that you're gonna get to the place where you see, wow, it really does make my playing sound bigger. Okay, so I hope that is something that helps you as a piano player or a keyboardist. This concept of inversions and the second inversion, drop 2, and then inverting that and incorporating that into what it is that you do. Okay, I hope this was beneficial. I hope it helped you, and I hope you enjoyed it. And always remember, you can go to my website, hollandsmusic.com, and I have several different videos up to help you no matter what playing level you may be on. So again, I want to thank you for taking time and watching this video, and I want you to always remember, HMPI, we're serving gospel musicians all over the world.